Live from QSR Studios in Las Vegas, it's the Hospitality Hangout Podcast with the restaurant guy and the finance guy. Jimmy, we've got a great show. Take it over.
Chatty, you are pumped up. I got to tell you, I think you're taking this QSR.
You didn't give me a coffee. I got to tell you, Jimmy, a little upset you're like, oh, I've got coffees. I'm coming to the podcast. I got coffee. You didn't bring me a coffee.
You're an iced tea guy.
I am an iced tea guy. But
did I bring you an iced tea?
No. I'm an iced tea guy. Did bring me an iced tea.
I didn't bring the iced tea. All right. I want to welcome you.
Starbucks has iced tea, Jimmy.
Starbucks, my apologies. All right. I want to welcome you more formally to the Hospitality Hangout, a hospitality-focused podcast where the founders at Branded Hospitality share their insights and bring technology and innovation leaders that are making things happen in the industry we love. My name is Jimmy Frischling, otherwise known as the finance guy. I'd like to introduce my partner, Mr. Michael Schatzberg, also known as the restaurant guy.
And thank you for the kind introduction, Jimmy. And to all those listening, feel free to call me Shatsy. Jimbo, we got a crazy good show today. Crazy good show. Live from Las Vegas. Super excited, right? And I got to tell you, Jimmy, I was thinking last night, I was out late. You know what I was thinking about? That's a question, Jimmy.
I think you were thinking about the engine of the kitchen. What is the engine of the restaurant? The engine.
Yes, I'm thinking I'm there. I'm out having drinks. And I'm thinking, what makes a restaurant really tick?
The point of sale? Is it the point of sale?
No, it's QSR Automation. You say, what's QSR Automation? I got to tell you, they had been pioneering restaurant technology, Jimmy, over 25 years. 1996, Jimmy. You do the math, Jimmy. That's a long time, right?
A long time, yes.
And I got to tell you something. They have a signature platform. It's called ConnectSmart. Jimmy, I came up with that name back in 96. They called me. They say, Shatsy, what's a great name to connect restaurants? I say, is it smart? They said, yes. I said, ConnectSmart. That's what we're going to call this thing. They don't pay me anything. They said they were going to give me something, nothing. Jimmy,
our fact checkers are already going
21 of the nation's top 25 casual dining chains use QSR Automation. Jimmy, have you ever heard of a little company called Chili's?
Yes, I have.
Olive Garden?
Yes.
Where Jimmy loves the free bread. He loves the bread. They took the free bread away from Jimmy, for a little bit, and Jimmy went bananas. I think Jimmy single-handedly got that change. Buffalo Wild Wings, Raising Cane's, Zaxby's, just to name a couple. Meantime, these guys are integrated with over 80 point of sales. Jimmy, I can't name 80 point of sales, but they're integrated with 80 point of sales, 140 global resellers. Not sure what that means, but it's a big number. And we like that, so it's cool. I got to tell you something. ConnectSmart Kitchen, ConnectSmart Host, ConnectSmart Go, ConnectSmart Recipe Plus, ConnectSmart Insights, ConnectSmart. Jimmy, it's just all ConnectSmart. It's QSR Automation. We love them. They're doing big things. Super excited to have them be part of this fantastic episode here. Jimmy, I got to tell you, take it away because we got more to talk about. We got a great guest.
And actually, I'm glad. I appreciate everything you just said because I think QSR Automations is one of the companies that the industry knows incredibly well, but they've always been somewhat behind the scenes, or at least, not a lot of guests know what they do. And that's
the guests don't see that. That's the heart and soul, the
secret sauce. So let's now, before Angela's bodyguard and producer and marketing executive shame us for convincing her to fly on into Vegas to do this with us, we are very excited for today's episode. Joining us today is our friend, is a second-time Hangout guest. She was so good on the first time that the nickname, get ready, the Kitchen Chick. The Kitchen Chick is back. Part 2. The Kitchen Chick has returned to the podcast, flew in for Vegas to perform and to be here with us. Miss Angela Leet, CEO of QSR Automations. This is going to be a fun episode.
I am so excited to be here.
I mean, I got to tell you, the crowd is loving it all.
We are recording live in front of the studio audience. That is a true statement.
It really is great. Jimmy, you got to kick us off.
Yeah, I'm going to kick this thing off again. But before we don't get Angela to be chatting, I'm telling you, we're in trouble. All right. Everyone, listeners of the podcast know that before we jump in, we like to do Trivia Tuesdays. Our podcast is released on Tuesdays. Here's how we play the game. Okay. We're going to give you 2 truths and 1 not truth, also known as a lie, but 2 truths and 1 not truth. Okay. There's 3 facts. 2 are true. 1 is not. Stick around to the end of the episode. Chatsy will guess which of the 2 truths.
Are you going to read them, Jimmy?
I'm going to read them. And which one was the lie? Here we go. Fact 1. Angela was an industrial firewoman.
I got to Google that. What the hell is that?
Okay. Professional firewoman, industrial firewoman.
Well, nobody even knows what that is, so that can't be possible.
Fact 2. Or maybe no one knows what it is, but it has to be true. Fact 2. Angela is a competitive stage cyclist.
That I got to tell you, I've seen Angela in pictures doing some cycling. So I can believe that. She looked very professional.
I'm not sure we invite banter when I'm reading the 3 factoids. I'm not
What,
sure.
I have to weigh in. I don't know which ones I think are true and false.
Okay, fact 2 was the competitive stage cyclist. Fact 3, Angela was an anchorwoman for her local TV station, WLKY.
I got to be honest with Jimmy. The cycling, I've seen pictures of Angela in her cycling gear, and she had like sponsors like Red Bull and things like that all over her gear.
You can buy shirts.
Is that?
You could buy them. I mean,
I thought she was actually sponsored by them.
maybe they were. Maybe sure. All right. So remember, fact 1, industrial firewoman. Fact 2, competitive stage cyclist. Fact 3, anchor woman. And stay classy, San Diego, at WLKY. All right, stick around to the end of the episode. Shatsy, now you can bring in our guest.
Well, I am about to bring in our guest, Jimmy, but before we have fun, she said hello, I think. She said, we have more to discuss because there's more to Angela than just what you mentioned.
Our guests aren't even going to believe Angela's here.
No, but I like to get to know Angela a little better. So we took a deep dive. So I did some research, right? And it was back in 1991. Angela, we're going back to 91, right?
Good year.
This is back 91. University of Louisville. Bachelor degree, civil and environmental engineering. No idea what that is, but it sounds very impressive. Angela, councilwoman, 4 years in Louisville, councilwoman. The first woman to ever run for mayor in Louisville and was so close to winning. Just a couple of votes away. Okay. An avid cyclist. So hint, I think we know one of those truths, right? Big fan of Peloton. Competes in cycling all over the world. Jimmy, do you know that one that takes place in France?
I've heard of that one.
It's Tour de France.
Yeah, tour. It's a tour.
She's done this. She's been in this race before. She's been in the race. She's in the car behind all the people following. You ever see those people? They're following what are those guys doing? Anyway, and also an avid golfer. So now that we have we know a little bit about Angela. Now we can say, Angela Lee, how does someone with this resume of brilliance run a global empire called QSR?
It's actually all the things you just mentioned are exactly what prepared me for it.
There you go.
I want to say, glad to be here. Good to see you guys again. I appreciate being invited back a second time. I think that maybe it's a vote of confidence
that's huge.
Or a form of desperation.
Why'd you get like a jacket? Jimmy has a jacket made.
Yes, we have a jacket ready for you. Gotta come on 3 more times. Though.
Sweet. 3 more times?
Yes, 5 guest jacket.
Okay. Well, then we'll have to make this one good.
Yes.
Yeah, just thrilled to be here today. And getting to the top of the game is, you have to have a passion for it. And I lived the business by osmosis through the founder of QSR Automations for 25 years and had the opportunity to jump in the lead role and have done it with a lot of gusto. Specific emphasis when I took the role on our people. I think that's one of the most important things. And I think that is the essence of the hospitality industry. It's about people. It's about connecting people. It's about finding ways to create experiences that are memorable, that they talk about every time they see each other. Oh, remember that time? And I think it starts, and you all kind of already mentioned a little bit of this. It starts about in a kitchen.
Well, it starts with the mayor race. It started with the mayor race, councilwoman, and now, CEO of QSR Automation. Jimmy's got some exciting stuff to talk about, right?
Awesome.
Jimmy, don't you?
Well, I do. I feel very blessed, that we're all together here in Vegas and we get to have the kitchen chick back. But
Jimbo.
also because our producer gave me the breaking news segment, which she almost never does because Shatsy's always basically bullying her and be like, I want the breaking news. But this time, Jimmy got the breaking news. So I get to break it. The QSR Automations has just released their newest product right here at Mertech, ConnectSmart Recipes Plus. ConnectSmart Recipes Plus.
Another ConnectSmart, Jimmy. Whose idea was that? This guy right here. ConnectSmart.
Not that guy. But anyway.
Well, not the Recipe Plus, but the ConnectSmart.
Anyway, Angela, could you please share the insights on this new product release? And I understand that you're going to have a great day ahead for QSR here at the conference.
Yeah, we're really excited about kicking off this conference and doing our kind of first new product introduction in quite a number of years. And so I think that's the challenge as a technology-based company, is to continue to be innovative. And I think we have kind of had the opportunity to kind of reimagine the kitchen. And we believed our business was built on owning the kitchen, owning the restaurant, and improving everything. And while doing so, making service easier for everyone. And so Recipes Plus that you all are going to have an opportunity to see later today when we do our little skit for the Ring of Fire. But it's all about extending the capability of your screen investment in your kitchen. So as you digitally transform, how do we make it easier to serve you? I think one of the biggest sticking points for, our customers right now is the amount of churn of labor in the restaurant. So
Yeah,
how do we
that's always been a problem.
continue? Yeah, and it continues to be a problem. And to the extent that we're able to find a way to improve that and make it easier for everyone, Recipes Plus is going to be that solution. And there's so many aspects of it, and I don't want to give away all of it.
Can't
up
give
front,
it all
but
away.
we got to
Can't give
tease
it
it
all
a
away.
little
Yeah,
bit.
tease. You mentioned Ring of Fire. So let's just talk a little about stuff. There's a lot of tech companies out there, especially we'll call them the startups. There's some startups out there, and they seem to grab all the attention. A lot of times the news certainly had a lot of the trade shows, the innovation alleys. It's great. You want some of these new innovative companies to get some attention, of course. But you're a legacy company. It's a legacy company, and sometimes legacy companies tend to get stale. They get old. They're not innovating. But that's not the case with QSR Automation. I mean, you guys are over 25 years old. You're still innovating. In fact, Restaurant Technology Network, RTN, Jimmy, get this. RTN has named QSR Automation in 2024. They have become named the finalist in the Ring of Fire. Jimmy, that is an honor. That's like the Oscars for like technology and the Oscars were last night. So I think it's really very apropos that we're talking about the Oscars of restaurant technology, and that's the Ring of Fire. So can you just share a little bit of strategy? What do you have that you stay relevant in this industry? Because you're 25 years old, but you're still staying relevant. Is it the cycling? Is it the Pelotoning? What keeps you, the strategy?
I mean, it really goes back to understanding how to improve the kitchen and making that service easier for everyone. And if you think about the idea of imagine, a software product that helps improve your table turns by 2 minutes to 20 minutes. Imagine having a guest management solution that's directly communicating with the kitchen, where we're creating the food experience, the purpose of somebody being there is to get the food. So how are we going to ensure that communication from front of house to back of house is happening? And imagine recipes in 200 different languages with the click of a button. If you're a ConnectSmart customer, it's not imagination for you. It's your reality. So I think that alone, just knowing that about what you can provide to your customer, which then they can provide to their guest, that's what continues to drive that innovation and looking for those opportunities to ensure that experience.
And the cycling too,
and
right?
The cycling. Well, that's where.
Because the cycling, you're probably thinking a lot.
That's where you get to
thinking,
you get
strategy.
to transmute and get to be imaginative.
The Tour de France, like 100,000 miles or something like that. So you got a lot of thinking.
It's a lot.
Leave the numbers to me. I do want to comment on the RTN and the Ring of Fire. It's not lost on me. I had a dear friend, we'll call him my Mr. Wolf. And he used to say, if you're standing still, you're falling behind. And no matter how successful or how entrenched you are in any industry, he kept saying, if you're standing still, if you're not thinking about what's coming next, you're giving your competitors the opportunity to usurp or encroach on your space. I actually think that one of the nicest or one of the most meaningful parts of QSR being in the Ring of Fire and being a finalist and being recognized in 2024 as one of the most innovative companies is just that. You have a quarter of a century under your belt, and yet you're still among the most innovative companies. And the current offering, the recipe offering, is a testament to that. So I think it's a really big deal for a company that has so much.
Oscars of our business. Of course, it's a big deal. I just said that it's a big deal.
I just think I said it better.
No, you didn't bring up Oscars. I brought up you didn't even know the Oscars were on last night, you.
The Oscars? Who's all right?
Yeah, who's Oscar?
Grouch. Listen, I want to bring up, I kind of teased it earlier, but in getting to spend some time, Angela, with you and your team, I love that you preach that the kitchen is the engine room of the restaurant. And I'm the finance guy, Brandon. I did cut my teeth decades ago in front of house, but I left the industry and I've now made a big return working obviously with Shatsy. But I recognize that I've never spent a day working in the kitchen. And from Shats and all the
imagine how sweaty you'd be back there, Jimmy. You sweat in air-conditioned office. Could you imagine you in the kitchen?
Yeah, I don't think that'd be good. I don't
know.
know.
You'd be putting your natural salt in all the food. Just sweat just pouring all over everything.
I think you just made the stomach.
We need more salt, Jimmy. Come over here and drip on this.
I think you just really, our guests would have wished you didn't go that way. But our listeners, but the kitchen is the engine room of the restaurant. And again, I got nothing but respect for our point of sale friends and the criticality of the POS. They like to say, or they are the heart of the business. But being able to build, take an order, build loyalty, collect the data are so important, but it has nothing to do with the one thing that is the biggest impact for guest satisfaction and guest, ultimately returning and getting butts and seats. And that's the food. And that's the kitchen where the food is being made. So can you talk a little bit about your thinking or the way you've embraced the kitchen as the engine room of the restaurant?
Yes, definitely. I think that I already kind of mentioned that we believe
I
that.
don't think you used engine room though. I like that. Can we quote you on that?
Yeah, we can go with engine
All
room,
right, I
'cause
love
I
it.
called it
Engine
the
room.
manufacturing center. And that's me coming from that oil and gas background that we
I
talked
love
about
that.
earlier. So
That whole
it's about
environmental
manufacturing.
engineering, the University of Louisville, shout out.
Yeah, there you go. Go Cards. Except not in basketball this year, but football season's just around the corner. Spring training is starting, so we're excited about football. Thought I'd never say that. But I think that engine room, when you think about it, it becomes the heart. We can create an analogy of a car. We could create the analogy of a human body. But without that center space, without that heart, it doesn't function. And, if that part of the business shuts down, we have plan Bs for transactions at the front of house, right? We have ways to handle transactions in the event of some collapse or failure. But what happens if something happens in your kitchen? You're not serving food. And what are people there for? They're there for the food.
It's a good
And
point.
that is truly the essence of, how do we create opportunities to make that experience better? Not only for the guest who's in the restaurant eating or taking food away to bring back to their families, but also for the employees who are there, the chefs that are preparing it. How do we create a calmer environment so that it's not so stressful? Because, you know, Jimmy, you said you may not have ever worked in that kitchen. I've worked in a kitchen. I know Shatsy's worked in the kitchen.
Oh, man.
And-
They used to
and
make
we
me go
know.
to the fry station because I was the worst. So they'd be like, Shats, you just make French fries, That's all you could do.
It's stressful because what you want to deliver as the quality of the food going out the door. But if you're not in a calm situation because things are in chaos, that's where QSR steps in the door with their ConnectSmart Kitchen solution is we create the calm kitchen. We have all the information in front of you. It doesn't go away. It's still there. You don't have to worry about a piece of paper falling into the grill or falling into the fryer and adding a little extra flavor to your dinner. We've got monitors. You can go back and see what you're missed or move forward and see what's coming. You get predictive information and data about how well you're performing. And so it provides that innate opportunity to continue to provide a good quality.
Chaos in a
product.
kitchen is bad. You need to stay calm, cool, and collective in the kitchen, because things get really, like they say, Jimbo, it gets hot in the kitchen.
I like that. QSR Automations, a calmer kitchen.
That could be a
my
shirt.
gift. That's my gift to you. Calmer kitchen.
Yeah, I like it. You know what? I got to
think we
tell you,
already-
when we say things like food service or hospitality, people automatically associate those things with restaurants and hotels, right? When you say hospitality, I think it goes with hotels and food service, certainly with restaurants, and they do get thrown around interchangeably. And you guys really do have, like we talked about, you guys are the engine room in, I don't know how many restaurants. Like, is it 50,000, 60,000? How many restaurants you guys in?
About 30,000.
30,000 restaurants, 30,000 restaurants. From what I understand, once this new ConnectSmart thing that we're doing, the Ring of Fire thing that we're doing, this Oscar winning thing comes out. From what I understand, there's like another 30,000 restaurants in the pipeline. And you can be extremely busy. So you're going to have to get more phone operators or something like that to handle all the extra inbounds. That's what I'm being told. Especially if you win the Oscar, the Ring of Fire thing.
When we win.
When we win. But I got to tell you, it's not just restaurants and hotels. You guys are not just quick serve. You're not just casual dining. You guys are now in other verticals because it's not just like we talk about food service. We are talking about anywhere food and beverages service is sold. Jimmy and I are always talking about airports and stadiums, right? This is a whole nother vertical. I'm in the airport yesterday with Jimmy. There's so many food offerings and beverage offerings, and people are in a hurry. So what better place? And stadiums, what better place than to have systems that can make things go faster? Tell us a little bit more about your presence in stadiums and airports, and what other areas are you guys going in and making things happen?
Right. I think let's start with the recognition of those operators of those stadiums and those venues to acknowledge the fact that hey, we've made this investment. These new stadium and venues, they're costing hundreds of millions of
I'd
dollars.
say, Angela, I'm not the numbers guy. Jimmy, billions of dollars.
Only in New York City. Only
Only
York.
Stadium was like
Hundreds
over
of
billion something dollars.
In New York, it's 1.6 billion, but elsewhere, it's like 600 million.
Hundreds of millions, billions.
Billion.
It's a huge investment, right? And the reality is they want that consumer to be at that venue longer. How do we attract them to that venue? We offer them the things they're looking for, the food, the drink, the experience. How do we do that? By improving the food quality to provide that experience, to provide a different level of food requires.
So when your team's losing, you're still happy because the food came out fast. That's right.
That's right.
It's a very good idea. I like it.
I didn't have
Look,
to
as a
stand in
Jet
line
fan, I
for
know a
30
lot
minutes.
about that. So believe me, as a Jet fan, I know a lot about losing. So I got to tell you, I go to a Jet game. I'm losing, but I'm happy because the food was hot and fast,
Right.
It's a balance. I'm not, about the Jets won, how happy I'd be. Imagine.
I'm
Fast.
you're a
I get
Jets
the
fan.
food fast, hot, fresh, and I'd win.
And a cold beer.
And a cold.
What interests me about, as you guys were just chatting about stadiums and arenas, so much tech recently, or certainly in the last several years, has been focused on the front of house and on the guest experience and engagement with the guests. And if you think about when you go to a stadium and arena, your focus really is on the event and that you're there for. And the food and the beverage play an incredible supporting and important actor. But it's less about, I would say, the relationship with the person getting you that beer or the food being served to you, because you're really grabbing it and trying to get back to the action, which means it's really about the back of house. It is all about the kitchen, because that interaction with the server is dramatically reduced at a stadium and arena. So if I think about what stadiums and owners, operators, team owners, operators, it really is, how can you create that better environment where the food is being produced to get it faster, accurately?
Hey, Jimmy, when you were at the Sixers game the other day, do you have to wait online for food? Or tell us about that VIP stadium experience, huh?
I'm not gonna lie. That was a once in a lifetime.
Did you have to wait on any lines, Jimbo?
I waited on no lines. I got to tell you.
Yeah, I saw that pass you had, like all access VIP Sixers.
And again, as much fun as that was, the interaction with the servers was de minimis relative to how prepared that kitchen was. So again, I think what we're talking about for the benefit of, it's not just restaurants, it's not just hotels and their food offerings, stadiums, it's arenas, it's colleges, universities, it is airport food courts, where ultimately the guest wants that.
Cruise ships. Yeah, great one.
Think of that.
I just saw that new cruise ship, the Icon of the Seas. It's the biggest cruise ship in the world. 7,800 people on this thing.
And think about how much more sophisticated consumers have gotten, right?
Yes.
And so what their expectation is going into an environment is they don't want to be told when they're going to go have dinner. They want to be able to go in and have dinner when they're ready to have dinner. And they want to choose which
And if I want to have two dinners, I'll have two dinners.
That's right. And cruise ships have had to
Jimmy
adjust.
has three dinners sometimes. I've seen it.
You're shaming me. You're shaming me.
I've seen
How do
three
you- how do you
dinners.
think of that?
He has a dinner. He's had a dinner with Sylvie. Then he's had a dinner with Barbara. And then he's had a dinner with me.
There you go.
Three dinners.
Actually, when I
It's
heard you
okay.
guys describing, I went through this as my young daughter. We were looking at schools, and they would all say, we want to meet the child or meet the student where they're at. And I actually think that's very applicable in the hospitality industry. It is our job as owners and operators of restaurants, and really what QSR is doing is helping these venues to meet the guest where they're at. Not telling them to eat from this time to this time, and here's the limitations. And again, I think having kitchens be more agile, be more flexible, be able to operate throughout different parts of the day. All of that comes back to the engine room. Shatz, I'm loving the engine room.
Yeah.
Jimmy, when I think engine room, I immediately think a submarine for some reason. I don't know why, but I just think
QSR
submarine.
Automations, but okay,
No.
you went with submarine.
I'm thinking that speed of service. So I'm thinking, 0 to 60 in 3
All right,
seconds.
listen,
flat.
Angela, that's what you think.
mean-
I think submarine.
Okay.
Okay,
Shame
well.
Jack,
me.
I'm going to move
Well, that's
on.
why I'm the innovator
Yes,
and
yes.
you're the restaurant guy.
Yes. And I'm
I'm the kitchen chick,
I'm going to
you're
give
the
Shatsy a
restaurant guy.
moment to think about his submarine as an environment I would never want to be in. And I'm going to continue with the kitchen chick here. So listen, one of my favorite questions that I get to ask our friends and our guests falls into the category of, when it comes to tech, do you build it or do you buy it? So when it comes to integrations, we find that some
or buy it.
build or buy, play or pass. When it comes to integrations, we find that some companies prefer to build out their own proprietary systems, and others would very much prefer to buy or partner with an existing tech stack. So which side of the fence? Maybe it's somewhere in between, but ultimately, where does QSR Automations lean when it comes to build versus buy?
So if I look at our history, suggests build. But I think the way in our QSR 2.0 model, where we are now, it's looking to build or buy. I think it is absolutely 100% as innovation continues to push forward that there are going to be inventors out there who go out and find one feature or one problem that has to be solved. Well, that becomes a feature where QSR has to be in the position to be able to grab that and work with them, whether that's through an acquisition, so you buy it, or you partner
with it.
And then I think as an industry, we have to start talking differently about partnerships. We talk about partnerships and that simply is, an integration. That is not what a partnership is going to be.
Or I'll mention your name in a conversation.
It's not going to be what it is moving forward. Partners are going to have to find a way to touch base and truly be partners working together to create what feels like one tech solution for their customer. And
it's more than just putting a logo on a website and saying we're partners.
That's absolutely correct. And it's got to feel like a single solution. It's got to have a go-to-market that feels like one solution. That's what partnership of the future is going to look like. So those are the partnerships we're seeking. So I think it'll depend. So to answer your question, it falls into a build or buy. It depends on the situation. It's just like we have to meet our customer where they're at. When they're ready to move forward and they're ready to pay for a bill at their table with a QR code, then, somebody's got to be in that position to be able to do that. When they want to be communicated from the kitchen to their phone to say, hey, your order is ready, we can do that. We have that capability in our kitchen. How do we continue to find those opportunities to meet the customer where they're at and move ahead?
I feel like you're running for mayor again. This is like a campaign speech.
You know it.
Yeah, it's like, honestly, how did you lose the mayor race? I got to get into how did you lose the mayor race? I mean, you could have crushed it. I got to find out who you lost.
Gosh, that's a really loaded question.
I got to find out who you lost.
There were too many
mail-in podcasts.
Too many mail-in ballots, I think.
Was it voter fraud? It was definitely voter fraud in Louisville.
Chatsy, I'm glad you got the applause in there of what Angela just said, because I have to tell you, I thought that was...
Well, it wasn't me, Jimmy. It's the audience.
It's the audience. I thought that was Hospitality Hangout podcast gold, because actually, I also feel that too many people we come across quickly drop the partner word. And then I have to ask, is it a lowercase p partner or is it an uppercase p partner? Because to your point, Angela, I feel that gets thrown around to the point where it's casual and it kind of dilutes the meaning of a real partnership. And look, on our side, we believe best in suite will beat best in class. And to be clear, it's because the operators would really not want to have, they don't want 20 to 30 independent software vendors in their restaurant, because that is very taxing on their team and the training and the maintenance. And at the end of the day, they have to serve guests, and it's about how the guest is engaged and treated and the quality of the food and the experience. All of the tech can be supportive of that and can help enable that. But at the end of the day, having 30 tech vendors is going to be somewhat disjointed. And I think that's why we think best in suite will win. But to be clear, Brandon likes to invest in point solutions and features with the belief that a lot of R&D, a lot of larger companies are now leaning into who is building that one feature, that single solution that could be the best in class, that then needs to be absorbed.
It's the Oscar music cue, Jimmy. Talking too long.
Too much. Okay. I just want to say, I'll take the cue. My mic's getting taken from me. I'll move on. All right. We're going to shift. And actually, this might be one of the most interesting talking back sections we've ever had, because I do understand that the kitchen chick has come prepared. We started this podcast because clearly Shatsy likes to talk a lot. I just sit here and listen. I'm like a wallflower. But we learned along the way that sometimes our guest has a question or two for us. So we're going to let the kitchen chick jump in. I like to say nothing's off the table, and something that is I'm concerned that Angela took that seriously. So Angela, the microphone is yours, my friend.
You've almost built it up too much now, because they're not that exciting. Okay. But it's just an indication of how much I love you guys. And I listen to you all. Shatsy's question is, I have the impression that he loves wine, but I don't know which.
He loves who?
Wine. That you are a wine lover.
Of course I'm a wine lover.
And so as a wine lover, what is if you had to choose only one grape, and that was the only grape you could ever taste again?
Oh,
what?
Really?
Which
deserted island?
Which grape?
On a deserted island, you can only have one grape.
What grape would
if I'm on a deserted island, I got to be honest with you, I'm feeling hot. So I would say Sauvignon Blanc, because it's hot,
If it wasn't, put you on the deserted island, I'd put you on the deserted island. What's your favorite grape?
Then I would have to go with just a Cabernet,
And you'd be happy with that for forever?
Yeah, that and pizza, which cheeseburger, and French fries, and Yeah, I think, yeah.
What
yeah.
what territory would that Cabernet grape be grown in?
I love the California stuff. It's so delicious. It's like grape juice, right, Jimmy? I mean, that Napa Valley stuff, I just love that.
Yeah, I know Angela has a different question for me, which is probably good because I would so disagree across the board with you on that. But then again, I'm a libertarian. You have your wine, I'll have my wine. You have your cab from California. I'm going probably old world. You know, I could
So
go
sophisticated.
I could go with Italian. I could go with French. I could go with Spain. I could go with the Rioja from Spain. I could go, actually, I like the Chiantis from Italy. I know people shun that grape, but I love the boldness
I
of
don't
it.
think
So
Angela
I know
asked you this question.
I know,
Did
but I
she?
wanted to jump in and just disagree with it.
But you might, hey, Shatsy, maybe you're going to jump in on his question.
No, I respect that this is his question and he doesn't respect my
Oh,
question.
wow.
Yeah, you're gonna pair an old nice cab with a piece of pizza. Well, good, well done. Good for you. Good for you, Shatsy.
I'm on a
Okay.
deserted island, Jimmy. My things are not that great.
I mean, but if you can get a burger or a slice of pizza on a desert island, he's already achieved something that I haven't figured out yet.
I think the deserted island.
So
I
you
think
know
it's
what?
The
I'll tell you right
Bahamas.
now.
I think it's at the
Neither of you were invited to my deserted
I think
island, okay?
The deserted island is the Atlantis.
Just give me me.
And there's a
All
buffet.
right. Maybe that should be the follow-on question. Which 5 friends would you have on the desert island?
No, I'm not taking anybody. Just everyone's making fun of me, and I'd just rather be alone. Okay, maybe my dogs. I have 2 Labradoodles. You know what? They never make fun of me.
They always come to the door when you come
Yes,
home.
I come home. They come a-running.
And they act like you've been gone all day, even if it's only been for 30 seconds.
All right, Ed, do you have a question for me?
Okay, yes. Here's
Okay.
your question.
All right, I'm excited.
All right. So one of my goals in 2024 has been to figure out how to do more reading. So I've added it as part of my morning routine is to read for 10 minutes every morning. So I've kind of created a list of books that I'm going through in 2024. So if you had to choose a book, what is your favorite book that you have ever read?
Let me step in there. Thank you, Angela, for that question. That's a brilliant question. I appreciate that. You know, I'm not a book guy. I'm more magazines. So I'm thinking like I could like sink my teeth into a juicy, like I would go like Esquire or Vanity Fair, or maybe even like GQ, you know? And of course, and
I'd
let's
love
not
to
forget
tell you
the
where
Post.
my
I
mind
love
is.
the New York Post. I can just really, I love just getting into bed sometimes and just getting the New York Post and just cuddling up with that New York Post and reading it is just, I love it so much.
You know, there's a lot of commentary that could go on here.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then you'd probably have to put the explicit thing
Yes.
on
But that's a
your
great
podcast,
question, and I
know.
appreciate that.
We don't
Yeah,
wanna go that
actually, I'm
direction.
glad that Chachi jumped in to try to shame me and just shared that he's more of a magazine guy, more of a headliner. And
The New York Post,
as the
Jimmy.
and he gets into bed with the New York Post. Jolien, God bless your heart. 20 plus years of marriage.
I just curl up with a
As
good
you-
magazine.
New York Post.
You're a superwoman.
Sink
Your
my teeth into
husband
that.
of 2 decades likes to cuddle up with the New York Post.
Love it.
I love the question. I'll answer very actually succinctly. One of my favorite authors is actually Michael Lewis, and a book that if I had to think of one book that meant really a great deal to me, and I said one, I'm picking one, Moneyball. I read it as a fan of Michael Lewis. I read it as a fan of baseball. And then I realized that as I was going through it, it was an absolutely business book. And it was a masterful book on how to think about business.
You're just
differently.
saying that because you went on stage at that
I
conference.
read the book
with
first.
Billy Bean.
I enjoyed all of it and then got
Yeah,
to
you're just
be on
saying that
stage.
because you
No,
had that Billy Bean
I'm telling you,
experience.
Moneyball was
You never read that book,
it
Jimmy.
was a
You
way
saw the movie. You say you read the book.
It was a way of looking
Been
at
there,
business
done that.
differently. And I have to say, a lot of the thinking differently is how we've built Branded to try to be meaningful or competitive in this digital transformation. And that book, I thought, helped a lot of people, including myself, think differently about how to approach business. And it's been a huge help to me. And I simply use this moment to say, Mr. Lewis, Mr. Bean, thank you, gentlemen. There you go.
Across.
There you go.
I thought you were going to say something like Winnie the Pooh.
That's my current reading list. Yeah.
Well, I got to
current
tell you, I
list.
hear something.
Oh, Joe
Uh-oh.
Rogan, eat your heart out. Best podcast section of all time coming up.
It's the Food Service Feud Tuesday Trivia Edition. Yeah, baby. We love it. We're bringing back the Food Service Feud here. Live in Las Vegas, Nevada. The fabulous Las Vegas here with Angela, QSR Automation. We are ready to play. We asked 100,000 real people on LinkedIn. Angela, these are real people. They're not fake people. They're not bots. These are real people. Top answers on the board. Angela, are you ready to play the Food Service
Let's
Feud? Jimmy,
go
I'm
it.
going to let you play also. I asked 100 million people on LinkedIn, okay? Top answers on the board, okay? What items would you like delivered by a drone, okay? Is it medicine prescriptions, food restaurant takeout, groceries, or coffee? Go.
Am I allowed to specify if I pick groceries, can I say non-perishables or is that too specific?
I will allow anything you say, Jimmy.
I'm going to go with groceries with the hope that
As Jimmy likes to do. Sorry, Angela, you can steal for the Angela Elite family and win fabulous prize. I got to tell you, that is the number 3 and number 4 answer. Does anyone care to guess?
Better than him, though. That's what counts. Like, I'm a little competitive. So,
yes. So your answer
I was
number
number 3 in his.
Well, groceries was number 3. Coffee was number 4. So actually, in the bizarro world, Jimmy,
I wanted the bizarre world.
In the bizarre world,
I want something that coffee to me is too spilly.
Yeah.
How about medicine and prescriptions then? Because
I got to say, Jimmy, you're sucking wind on this.
I think
Angela, you care to guess?
Yeah, the only other answer left.
Food. Yes, Angela. Angela, big winner. I got to tell you, you win fabulous prizes, fabulous trips, a new Peloton subscription for the entire family. Jimbo, I got to tell you, that was a great addition. I don't recall the last time that both people lost.
I clearly am not at one. I'm not in line with these hundreds of thousands of people that got surveyed because the idea of having, again, I wanted the non-perishable medicines would be okay with me. I'm not getting my
food, Jimbo. It's food. We want drones delivering food.
I wanted him to have
Nobody cares about medicine, Jimmy. No one needs medicine. We need food.
All right. Well, I mean,
coffee.
All right.
Coffee.
So disappointed with you
Angela
guys.
chose coffee because we waited like 25 minutes to get a cup of coffee.
So embarrassed.
All right. Listen.
Then we have drones dropping coffee all over the place. Hot burning, regarding us all.
All right.
Lawsuits are running rampant.
Come on, your drone. My drone does not spill coffee.
Angela's drone. The kitchen chick's drone drops it calm.
Brings it to your hand in your bed.
Hey, Jimmy, do you hear that music?
Yes,
That's the match game music.
Match game music. All right, listen, at the top of the show, we talked about our 2 truths and a lie. And we're going to come back now, and Chatsy's going to get to play. Just as a reminder, the 3 factoids about Angela. Fact 1, Angela was an industrial firewoman. 2, Angela is a competitive stage cyclist. Fact 3, Angela was an anchor woman on her local TV station, WLKY. Chatsy, what do you think?
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I don't know what an industrial person is that does that. It's so weird. So I would say that's true because I have no idea what it is. So you can never even lie about that. You have to like specially
go with the George Costanza.
I'm
like
going
just
with
do the opposite. You don't understand it, so choose it.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I saw Angela. You know, I don't know what competitive means, but I don't know.
Key word, I think.
I should say, like I've seen her cycle, but competitive. The picture she showed me in like Italy, it looked very competitive to me.
But she's a very competitive person. She's a very competitive person.
Look.
All right, so what's your answer, Shatsy?
I don't think she's a competitive cyclist. I think Angela's an anchor woman on WLKY. She's gorgeous. She's a knockout. Of course she's an anchor woman. Who wouldn't have her as an anchor woman?
All right. I'm going to go with, I think the not truth was the anchor woman at the WLKY.
What's WLKY? Is that like Louisville, Kentucky?
Yeah, you got it.
Well done, Chat.
Wait, Angela, answer me this.
Yeah.
Like, say this to me. And now the weather. Say that. Let me hear how you say it.
Now the weather.
Yeah. Oh, Jimmy.
All right.
Anchor woman.
All right. Chatsy said industrial firewoman and a TV anchor woman. I said industrial firewoman and a competitive stage cyclist, not the anchor woman. Angela, what's the truth?
Okay. Well, I was never an anchor woman, but I was a commentator.
Oh,
I have been a political commentator on TV.
That's what I meant. I never meant anchor woman.
The words matter. Words matter.
And I think if we define it depends on how we want to define competitive.
You're very competitive.
I finish what I start.
Boom.
If that's competitive, then by God, I'm competitive.
Yes.
All right. You know what? I'm going to say they were all true. Okay. I'm just going to say they're all true.
There you go.
All right, Jimbo, listen, we got a great segment right now. You know what it is, right?
Yes.
It is one of the greatest segments of all segments on all podcasting history, right?
Yes. We can't verify that, but we're going to go with it.
Angela, are you ready for the Branded Quickfire?
I'm ready anytime.
Okay.
You guys shoot.
I'm going to ask you 5 lightning round questions. I don't want you to think too hard. I don't want you to think too long. Just tell me what comes to mind. Favorite Peloton instructor?
Matt Wilpers. You got to be a guy. I'm not going to pick a girl like
you're
you
number
guys.
1, baby. Number 1.
I got to go look this guy up. I don't even think he's a Peloton instructor.
No, he's a former accountant, competitive, triathlete.
I'm
now
Kendall. I'm all in.
Remember
Kendall and Cody. I like Cody.
Remember the segment title? Quick.
Where are you getting dinner from tonight?
Somewhere in Scottsdale.
What's your favorite food city in the world?
That's a hard question to answer, to be fair. And I'm supposed to be lightning quick, so.
Let's fast forward. On our show, that was very
Chicago.
Great
Chicago.
city.
Favorite place to travel?
London or UK. Let's just say UK. Anywhere.
Or you
in the
could say
UK.
London.
No,
UK.
UK.
I love it.
We'll
I love
go
it.
with the UK.
All right, now this
Could
is
have
where
been- could have
things
been the
get a
favorite
little.
food city.
This is where things get weird. If you were to challenge
Now they
Jimmy
get
Rock
weird.
to a game of hungry, hungry hippos, you know that one?
Yeah,
Hungry,
yeah.
hungry hippos. And they're like, hungry, hungry hippos. It's a board game classic, okay? I love it, okay? Jimmy still plays. We have better odds of beating. Now, Jimmy, mind you, has a 7-year-old, so
I
he's
think
probably been
this one's a
playing
slam
the
dunk.
hungry hippo. My youngest is 19. I haven't played in a while, but sometimes I bring it up on myself on that deserted island with my wine and my pizza, and I play hungry hippo.
Well, the truth is, I'm going to have to say that I'm going to beat Shatsy because you know what? Jimmy had 2 cups of coffee this morning. You had 0. And you had wine, which also slows you down. So
Yeah.
there's the engineer's thought about that.
Yes.
So
And I don't have the
I'm-
attention span for board games.
I'm whooping you.
But
I don't, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't really.
I think that was a
Man.
slam dunk. I do have a young daughter. We are playing Hungry Hippos. And when we go to Dave and Buster's, they have a large. I try to go to Dave and
Like that
Buster's.
one.
They have a big, giant size sit on the hippo. And my daughter loves the game, cracks up. So I'm very active now with the Hungry Hippo game. But I think that was a very accurate. I think that question was made for me. I think our producer and friend Julie was like, I'm going to give Jimmy a win here.
You know,
All right.
the best news is we all ended up winning.
We're all
You know,
winners.
we're all
We're
winners
all
today.
winners
We're all
here.
winners.
Yes. It's like when my kids were younger. Who's winning? Oh, everyone has to bat. And then everyone wins. Everyone gets a
Everyone's
trophy.
getting a participation.
What do you get, everyone? There's no score. There's no score. Everyone just bats around, and then when they're done, the other team just bats around. What the heck? Wait, there's no score? I don't understand. How do you measure yourself? By height.
QSR is going to keep winning because we're winning the Ring of Fire
That's
later
right.
today.
Dude, we are winning
Yeah,
the Ring of
we're
Fire. I
winning.
love it.
Ring of Fire. I can't
Really gotta get a little-
get Johnny Cash out of my head right now. All right, listen. We've enjoyed all of this.
Ring
Angela,
of Fire.
Angela, we want to thank you so much for joining us on this special edition of the Hangout on the Road Vegas. We appreciate your hard work and everything your team is doing for the industry, not just during this time, but for the industry we truly love. 25 years in the industry, and you guys are still now listed among the most innovative companies in the industry. And I just think that is really cool.
30,000 restaurants depend on it, Jimbo.
Depend on it. And that number is only to keep going up. If you want to get
After that Ring of Fire Oscar, I'm telling you, it could be 60,000 in a week.
$60 a week. If you want to get in touch with Angela directly, you should email the podcast.
I have her
team.
cell phone right here.
Yeah,
Jimbo.
that was a season 1 rookie
Trust
mistake.
me.
We don't do
Yeah,
that
but
anymore.
Angela's the kind of woman, the kind of leader that wants to interact with her customers directly. We're not passing these off to underlings.
Yes, but what we are going to do is give our email podcast at Brandon Strategic, and if you request to speak to Angela, we will then connect
Hey,
you.
Jimbo, by the way, we have a new it's info@thehospitalityhangout.com. We have a new email.
Info.
You still do podcasts. It'll still get there.
Okay.
But I thought it was cool that we had it info@thehospitalityhangout.com.
That's genius. I have no idea who came up with that.
Well, we got that URL.
We got the
hospitalityhangout.com.
hospitalityhangout.com.
Hey, go check it out.
And
By the way, you know the podcast on Spotify and Apple and Amazon, all those, you know that?
I do.
Have you ever listened?
I guess you were telling
Have you
our
ever
guests.
listened to the
I guess you were
podcast?
telling our listeners.
I don't think you've ever listened to the podcast.
No comment. Listen, but finally to our listeners, we do want to thank you so much because I think we're approaching 200 episodes of the podcast. We know that it wouldn't be possible for us to keep going and to have guests like Angela, the kitchen chick, on our show without your support. So a sincere thank you. And if you like,
We got the restaurant guy, we got the kitchen chick, and the finance guy in the same room. That's
Wow. That's
podcast
powerful.
gold.
This is podcast gold.
That's podcast gold.
All right. So thank you to our listeners for continuing to support this. And we want to continue to bring amazing guests like Angela and the companies that are making things happen in this industry we love. So on behalf of Jimmy Frischling, I guess behalf of myself and the
I
finance
love
guy,
that. On behalf of
On behalf of
myself,
myself.
Jimmy Frischling. I love that.
Edit that. Anyway, no, we're not. We're going like Sinatra. We
Jimmy
don't
had
take-
2 Trenta coffees.
Yes.
He had 2
So,
Trentas.
I'm signing
You know
off.
what a Trenta is at Starbucks? That's like, you just had you had like a gallon of coffee. That's like a gallon.
I still speak good.
Yeah. He goes to stuff. You gotta have a gallon.
I'm signing off, passing it back to my boy Shatsy, again, with appreciation.
And
Angela.
thank you, everybody. And Angela, if anybody wants to find out about QSR Automation, is it QSRautomation.com? What's the address?
QSRautomations.com. We'll find
It's not automation. It's plural. There's many automations.
That's correct.
QSRautomations.com. This was great. Cheers, everybody.